These are the 10 ocean stories you won't believe. Let's begin with number 10, 3 days clinging to a rock. Saori Furukawa is one of the names of 5 Japanese divers that were found off the coast of Bali in 2014. There were 7 divers originally, but the search began when one of the divers' bodies was found. The 5 divers spent 3 days stranded on a reef, comically enough drinking water from coconuts nearly 19 miles from where they originally started their dives. The weather was fine when the dive started, but it quickly turned sour when the sea began to spin like a washing machine. According to Furukawa, she survived by clinging to one of the rocks that the reefs had. She was eventually rescued by helicopter, soon followed by her 4 other fellow survivors. Number 9. Sucked into a nuclear power plant pipe. In July of 2015, scuba diver Christopher Lee Kuhn was sucked into a nuclear power plant intake pipe off the coast of Florida. He was investigating a yellow buoy when he was sucked in the underwater pipe. The buoys are kept there to mark the danger points for the pipe, but he isn't the first diver that has been sucked into the pipe. There were also no warning signs, and the power plant sucks in 500,000 gallons of ocean water a minute, and Lee Kuhn's friend said that he was sucked into the pipe like a wet noodle. His friends immediately went to his wife and told her that he just saw him die. Lee Kuhn was trapped in the pipe for 5 minutes with the water churning around him. He said that the current was so violent that he had to hold onto his mask and regulate it to make sure that they didn't come off. He was luckily spat out into a water reservoir where he was able to find power plant workers to help him out. He is attempting to sue the plant owners because of the lack of warning signs, but the company said that he bypassed protective measures put on the pipes to prevent this from happening. Number 8. Diver's body found after 17 years. Donald Christopher Windecker's body was found in 2011 after 17 years of being missing. He disappeared in 1994 and he was discovered surprisingly well preserved in the waters of Lake Tahoe. He was buried 265 feet under the surface of the water. The man was from Nevada and he worked as a city planner. The area that the body was found is actually infamous for swallowing up divers, and there are still 4 other divers that have gone missing in that area throughout the years. They think that he either ran out of air and had a heart attack or stroke after he was sucked into the water. There are a bunch of legends surrounding that area, including that there is another Loch Ness monster located in the waters. Number 7. Dolphins protect divers from great white sharks. Rob Howie was diving with his teenage daughter and 2 of her friends at 300 feet off the coast of New Zealand when they noticed that a family of dolphins began to circle them. 7 of the dolphins formed a ring around them and started flapping their tails aggressively in the water. He didn't know what was happening until he spied the great white shark that was trying to get inside of the circle. The dolphins stayed with them for 40 minutes while they swam back to shore. Dolphin experts say that dolphins do something similar when they are protecting their young from predators. They say that the dolphins likely noticed the danger and helped out the divers before they knew what was about to happen to them. Number 6. Punch shark in the face. Tiger sharks are considered to be one of the most dangerous species of sharks in the world, and that was proven in 2012 when a Hawaiian native, Joshua Holley, was attacked off Oahu's north shore. He said that the shark was 10 feet long and it had a good hold on his foot. In an adrenaline high that is mainly confined to horror movies, he ended up escaping with his life when he thought to punch the shark in the face. In the end, he only ended up needing 42 stitches in what otherwise would have probably been a fatal attack. He also needed to have some of his tendons in his legs repaired as well. Number 5. Sea snake versus tiger fish. This intense animal battle was found by Australian diver Rick Tripp. He captured this fight in 2015 when he was diving in the Darwin Harbour, which is part of the city of Darwin in northern Australia. The pictures show a massive sea snake and equally large stonefish locked in a stalemate with both of the jaws clamped to each other. The diver ended up intervening in the fight because he knew that they would just kill each other if they continued in the deadlock. He made the hilariously risky decision to pull the snake out of the water and separate the 2 of them before they killed each other. As soon as he put the snake back in the water, the snake immediately went back to try and kill the fish though, so go figure. Number 4. Loses a leg to a shark and then fights to protect them. Krishna Thompson was on a vacation with his wife for their 10th wedding anniversary when he was pulled out to sea by his leg. His leg got so badly shredded in the attack that he had to have it amputated above the knee. He was able to swim back to shore even with his leg in tatters. 10 years after the incident though, he met at the UN along with the other shark attack survivors to try and convince people to make more conservational efforts for these animals. He admitted that he was in their territory and that we need sharks. He believes that they set the balance for the entire ocean and they shouldn't be hunted like they are today. Number 3. Loses arm and keeps surfing. Bethany Hamilton was a professional surfer that survived a nasty shark attack when she lost her arm. The story is probably familiar because it received massive media attention while also eventually being adopted into a popular 2011 movie. She was 13 at the time of the attack in 2003. She said that she actually didn't feel any pain during the attack and she was numb all the way to the hospital. The shark that bit her was a 14-foot long tiger shark that was killed not long after the attack. She returned to surfing just 1 month after the attack and she was professional when she entered into a surfing competition just 1 year later. Number 2. 72 hours in an air pocket. This insane underwater experience happened in 2013 when a ship sank off the Nigerian coast. O'Kane was actually a chef on the ship when the ship sank due to a sudden ocean swell, whatever that meant. The ship fell 100 feet below the surface of the ocean at 5 AM, but the ship's chef was able to find a pocket of air in the sunken ship that he spent and survived 3 days inside that little pocket of air. The air pocket was already only 4 feet and rising, but he was able to hold back the water using whatever he had around him. The real miracle in surviving on the air that was available when atmospheric pressure increases when you get further down into the ocean, the gases become denser, which is helpful because that meant that there was more oxygen available. It also meant that there was more CO2, which is a little bit less good news. He was lucky because the water was cold enough that it absorbed a lot of the CO2, which kept the levels from becoming lethal. He was eventually found by divers and most people are calling what happened to him a miracle. Number 1. Ripped apart by a shark. This diver, ironically, was actually responsible for one of the most horrific shark attack scenes in movies and was also the victim of one of the most violent shark attacks in history. Rodney Fox was attacked by a shark that broke all of his ribs and punctured his lungs before he was able to swim to shore and to safety. He ended up getting 462 stitches before he was in the clear. He has become a shark expert since then and he even invented the first diving shark cage. Despite the violent attack, he was also dedicated his life to saving the animals from illegal hunting and fishing practices. He was diving off the coast of South Australia in 1964 when the shark attacked. Not much was known about sharks at that time, and when he first felt the giant shark, he thought that it was a massive submarine. The shark also shredded his right arm so bad that he has the shark tooth embedded into his arm ever since the accident.